Stay with Decision 2024 coverage. People in 3 states will head to the polls today to decide who will be on the ballot in November.
Wyoming, Alaska, and Florida are all holding primaries today. There are some races to watch that could have an impact on which party takes control of Congress. For more on today's primaries, let's bring in NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ali Vitali. Ali, good morning. Let's start in Florida. It has a closed primary, 2 major races to watch. The first, Republican Senator Rick Scott. He's facing 2 challengers, so how does he look against them? And then who's the favorite on the Democratic side?
This race is likely to shake out, guys, the way that we've always thought it would be and the way that both campaign organizations have been acting like it would. It's going to be Rick Scott at the top of the Republican ticket, most likely, and then we expect Debbie Mucarsel-Powell to be the challenger in Florida. And there's a lot of back and forth about if Rick Scott is beatable. He is not a popular politician in the state, but having covered him for years over the course of many tight elections, specifically when he ran for Senate back in 2018, that's a race that went to an automatic recount. Scott has never won by wide margins in Florida, but he is someone who knows how to campaign methodologically and also make sure that he gets just enough votes to win. On the other hand, though, Democrats are trying to make the case that Florida is still a swing state. It's a tough argument to make. Nevertheless, Debbie Mucarsel-Powell is hoping that having the potential for abortion on the ballot and the fact that Scott is less popular in the state, along with the new headwinds that Kamala Harris brings to Democrats nationwide, they're hoping that they can at least put this state back in play and potentially flip a badly needed red Senate seat blue. This is, again, a very tricky map, though, for Democrats. Florida would be one place that we could see them expand the map, but it might be unlikely.
And Ali, House member Matt Gaetz, who is one of the people that helped push former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy out of his role, also up for re-election, and he's facing off against the McCarthy-backed GOP challenger. That's Aaron Dimmock. How's that shaping up?
This is the last stop on the Kevin McCarthy revenge tour, and his batting average is not looking like it's going to be great, especially because of the 6 out of the 8 Republicans that voted to oust McCarthy last year from the speakership. He ended up backing primary challengers in 4 of them. I covered most of them. Of course, the first one was Nancy Mace in South Carolina. She won her primary decisively. The only notch on McCarthy's belt that he has here is Congressman Bob Good, but McCarthy at that point was on the side of former President Trump. So we'll see if Gaetz ends up being someone who also falls in the McCarthy column. It does seem unlikely. He's well known in the district. It's hard to knock off incumbents in the first place, but there is a certain irony to Gaetz being the final chip in this revenge tour. And that's because these 2 men just absolutely despise each other. It was true even before Gaetz rallied everyone to oust McCarthy from the speakership, but it is certainly true now. They don't try to hide it. They openly talk about the fact that there is no love lost between these men, but there is a certain irony to Gaetz being the last one and him likely to escape his primary challenger.
Ali, quickly, let's talk about Alaska. That's a ranked choice state. Democratic Representative Mary Peltola, the state's first Alaska Native representative, is facing 11 challengers. Her bid for re-election. Does it look like she'll make it through to November?
Also, I believe the first woman to take the House of Representatives seats for Alaska, because there's one to represent the state. I covered Peltola's race back in 2022, got to get on the ground in Alaska, and ranked choice voting is really a system now. This is the second election cycle that it's in play, where Republicans are still trying to repeal it. Most voters I spoke to 2 years ago were a little skeptical, a little nervous about something new, but mostly thinking that they had confidence in the system. But it's also a system that rewards people who work bipartisanly, who don't run to the extremes of their party. Certainly, that's the kind of lawmaker that Peltola has been. She is, of course, a Democrat in a red state. That didn't matter when she was challenging the likes of Sarah Palin last time around. But there's a wide field of Republican challengers. We'll see if she's able to make it out. But remember, Alaska, because of its vastness, a lot of people voting by mail, and because of ranked choice voting, it takes a little bit longer to tally. So we probably won't know this one for a few weeks.
All right, Ali Vitali, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.